Good afternoon. Welcome to this presentation. My name is John Pitchko, and today I'll be talking about minimum viable products, how one can build a minimum viable product to validate assumptions and prove that customers exist, validate your assumptions, and in fact, even earn some revenue with a product that might not even be fully developed. So what is an MVP? Well, really, it's the most basic version of a product or service that provides value to customers. It's a really widely used concept in the startup world, and it's all about testing your ideas and gathering feedback from real customers using as simple product as possible before you invest significant money into building it out. There's a lot of people that talk about this in the startup and entrepreneurial space. Two of the folks here, Steve Blank on the top and Bob Dorff on the bottom, they really built out this concept in their book, The Startup Owner's Manual, which is a great guide that goes step by step, guiding individuals, guiding entrepreneurs from how to go from nothing to a startup to a growing venture. What they defined was this customer development process, and it's in 4 boxes here. And it really goes from starting with just trying to understand your assumptions, trying to find out if there are customers for your idea, and the next getting into validating that they in fact exist. So there's a lot of different approaches to an MVP, and I'll show you one that's could be a bit of a struggle. Oftentimes what happens when people think about an MVP is they start with something very basic. You know, if you're building a car, they start with a wheel. Well, a wheel is great, but it doesn't really provide value to a customer. If a customer wants to get from point A to point B, they need something more than just a wheel. So here's a different approach. On the bottom, you see, this group, they didn't start with a wheel, they started with a skateboard. And they took that to the customer and said, well, yes, it works. It can get me from point A to point B, but I need something that's easier to steer. I need something that I can pedal and get faster with my feet. And through a number of iterations, you go from skateboard to scooter to motorcycle to a full-size car. I want to talk about an example that occurred when I was working at Innovate Calgary. Now it's called Platform Calgary. It's a nonprofit consultancy for tech entrepreneurs in Calgary. They offered programming and services for folks just wanting to get started in the entrepreneurial space. When I came in, I noticed there was a gap in the product offerings offered by the business. The current products, the current educational programs that were being offered needed customers to be in session during the weekdays. There was nothing available to people in the evenings and on weekends. And I had a theory that these people existed. I had a theory that there's a lot of individuals out there that could be working full time, that could be unavailable during the day, but they still wanted to come and try to get their startup going. They wanted to try to build a fantastic product. So we had a couple of expectations and assumptions that we wanted to test. First of all, did these customers in fact exist? Are there full-time workers out there that want to start their own business? Are they willing to pay to take some education? Do we have a way to get to market and get in front of these customers and get them to buy the product? Will they find our content to be valuable? So this is what we did. We created a minimum viable product, which was just thrown together, 90-minute session that we would host in the building. We asked people to pay $45, come down to the event. All the registration and payment would be handled by Eventbrite. And we'd market it on our website and social media, and let's just see if we can get some people to come out and come to the event. Well, we launched the event, and we were pleased. We actually had a handful of customers attend, about a half dozen or so that were willing to pay that $45. We did this over several times, several months, and probably for about a dozen sessions or so. And each time we were able to get 5 to 10 customers, and we captured their feedback. We improved the product after every single iteration. Most importantly, after each event, we sent out a survey. We wanted to get feedback so that we could get better. We asked people about what they liked, what they didn't like. We asked them for their comments. Could we use them in their marketing material, which was a great source of testimonials. And we were successful in getting that feedback. It was also a fantastic tool for moving customers, potential customers, through our sales funnel. We could bring them in with a very inexpensive, low commitment, low cost program, and then see if they were interested in something the next step, something that would require the next level of commitments and cost a little bit more money. Now, at first, some folks argued, should this be a free event? I mean, 90 minutes for $45 sounds kind of crazy. And yes, while it was never a real significant revenue source for the business, the real purpose of charging money was to make sure we had committed people. I think everyone who's run free events knows that you send up a free event, you get 50 people that sign up, and maybe 20 actually show up to the event. If people are paying $45, they're going to show up, right? And we were successful in proving our assumptions. Do these customers exist? Yes, they did. Are they willing to pay? Yes. We knew that we at least paid $45. Did our advertising and marketing work? Yes, it worked, and we were able to get and convert those customers. So we ran this for several months. Now what? What do we do next? Well, we could have adjusted the price. We could have tried different schedules, different frequencies. We could have sent out maybe a pre-event questionnaire to get a better understanding of where the participants are coming from, and then try to tailor the event for their purposes. But we ended up running that event for several months, and it was quite successful, in my opinion. But eventually we chose to stop. The leaders at the company at the time, they wanted to shift a bit, and this new Startup 101 from Startup Calgary was being launched, and that was replicating a lot of what we were doing. So we didn't want to compete against them. But I think that the biggest value from that experience was that, yes, we made it work. With very, very little money, very, very little time, we built a product from nothing, put it out there, and got real customers to come in and participate. So I hope this serves as a piece of wisdom or a lesson to folks thinking about getting into their startup. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get your product off the ground or to get revenue. It's a classic innovator mistake. You don't need a fully developed product to be successful. Just find something that provides some level of value to customers, get it out there, prove that they exist, prove that they're willing to pay, prove that you can get in front of them, and you'll be successful. Thank you for taking a look at my presentation. There's my contact information. Would love to hear from anyone about this or anything else. Thank you very much, and have a great day.